KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala saying all affected individuals and businesses will be accommodated in the flood response budget that has been outlined. Over 400 people lost their lives and thousands more have been displaced in the recent floods. We're joined now by the KwaZulu-Natal Finance MEC Nomusa Dube-Ncube. Good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. A lot has been said and concerns being raised about how this money that has been allocated towards helping rebuild KZN will be spent. As the Finance MEC, talk to us about some of the measures that your department is putting in place to ensure that there is no wastage, there is no looting.
Hi, good evening, Kathy, and good evening to all your viewers. Indeed, we have put measures in place as KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Treasury that for every project that is going to be done by our provincial departments, we are going to do what is called pre-assessment or pre-auditing of all the projects. The pre-auditing is going to be done before the projects are started. And we are going to be doing this, collaborating with the Auditor General. I've already met with the Auditor General. We are also going to be sharing some expertise with the Auditor General. Further to that, we are going to be having an ongoing auditing process, including the post-auditing of the project, which will mean after the road or the houses have been built, we will also go back and do what is called the post-audit so that we can check and ensure that that road is built in a manner that befits the price, in a manner as determined in that manner as per the price and also as per the specification, but also ensuring that that road is not going to be eroded within a month's time.
A lot of the money that is being sent towards alleviating and assisting the rebuilding again, it's not necessarily centralized. So you have, in some instances, departments that will have to oversee certain projects, local municipalities that will have to oversee some of the projects. That means that it creates even more room for there to be gaps. How are you going to ensure that that doesn't take place and, you know, there aren't windows of opportunity that some of, you know, these brazen individuals that have become so bold in being corrupt are not waiting to take advantage of?
Yes, it is true, Kathy, that there definitely will be challenges, but we think that with this approach that we are doing where it's not going to be an after thought, it's not going to be an after effect that we're putting in place. With the municipalities as well, we have asked the Treasury that we need to see what measures we can put in place, because for the provincial Treasury or for provincial government, Treasury has created a what is called a bus system with a specific code where if any department wants to spend, they will have to put that expenditure in a particular code, meaning that we are going to be able to see everything that is spent on the disaster funds. But also those funds, then we are going to be able to be tracking where are those funds coming from. Are they coming from the monies that have been designated for emergency or for the disaster, or they're coming from the original budget of that particular department? And for municipalities, we have asked also for the National Treasury to see what kind of mechanisms we can put in place, just like we've done with the provincial government, where we can try and ring-fence these funds so that we are also able to do the same assessment and the pre-auditing. But working with the Auditor General again, the Auditor General is going to be working from the beginning of the project to the end, as I've already said, Kathy.
One of the challenges, of course, is that we have, at least in as far as the challenges around procurement are concerned, we'll have many companies that are awarded contracts and, given the green light to provide services at prices that are sometimes way above what is market related or should even be acceptable. Are you going to be looking at putting a limit on what can be spent, especially in the procurement of certain goods?
Definitely, Kathy. We already have that list of all the prices. For instance, we know how much would ordinarily be a cost for a temporary housing, for instance. We know how much would a bill of quantities of a particular road will cost. So we already have that list. And when somebody said, I've procured this particular item, we will be looking at that list and looking at the price and looking at that particular project and evaluating it according to those bill of quantities. And as I indicated, we have independent experts as well that we are sharing with the Auditor General, which are not the experts that are within government, which are experts that we are sharing, as I say, with the Auditor General, such as engineers and other architects who are going to be giving us also that expertise of going to be able to go there independently and actually evaluate even those projects to so much bill of quantities, and therefore I'm charging so much money. That is going to be evaluated by an independent evaluator or an engineer. But over and above that, what we are also doing, Kathy, is that with this ongoing process of monitoring these projects, we are also going to be publishing the list of companies that are going to be given work, so that we are transparent, so that we are also accountable to our citizens. We want this time around as well for people to be able to scrutinize everything that is being done by government.
Lastly, let's talk about the timeframes and deadlines, because we know that that is yet another avenue that is often used to try and extract more money out of the state. So something that is supposed to take 1 to 2 months maybe ends up taking 1 to 2 years. Who's going to be watching those deadlines and timeframes?
Well, we have asked departments to give us the timelines for each one of the projects. And the projects have been divided into short-term projects, medium-term projects, and the long-term projects. We already know what are the projects that need a minor renovations, what are the projects that needs a major work that needs to be done into those projects. So projects are going to be, categorized into these short, medium, and long term. And in that, the contracts that are going to be established with those companies as well, we're going to be building this project management plan. Included in there will be this monitoring and evaluation and the assessment tool that we are introducing in this project that will be tracking during the project, and as I said, even after the project. But also with the contract management that we are putting in, it's going to enable us to know that as this department signs this contract with this particular service provider, the contract is for this particular time and it's got this particular timeline and for this particular amount. That will be evaluated, assessed, and if we find that all the procedures, all the processes have been followed and all the independent assessors are happy, the project will then proceed. We will then be tracking the project as it gets rolled out, and also then see the project as it gets finished, and we also then do that post-assessment or post-auditing of that project.
KwaZulu-Natal Finance MEC Nomusa Dube-Ncube. Let's leave it there for tonight.